191 coming in hot.
191 episodes, that's crazy.
3, 2, 1.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to episode 191 of NerdPod Generations. As always, I am one of your illustrious hosts, Steve Taylor, along with the always lovely Al Jetsam. Hello, sir.
Hello, friends and enemies.
So this is going to be a very interesting show,
Yes.
folks, because we have some stories about a crazy week that we got to go over.
Yeah.
We have, this is our first watch and review in a very long time.
I think since last summer. I think last summer was the last watch review that we really did.
Which I can't even remember what the last movie was.
I don't know either.
No, wait, was it 28 years later?
It was. It
Yes.
was not the Bone Temple.
Yes.
Just 28 years, yeah.
Just regular 20 years. I think it was the last time we did
time.
it. So we have a very special, a super extra special watch and review because this is truly going to be NerdPod Generations.
I was going to make that bit.
I knew you were, because we have the next generation, which is my son, Ethan.
Hi!
Who is turning 11 tomorrow, and this was part of his start of his birthday weekend, is we saw, and don't judge me as a parent, folks, we saw Mortal Kombat 2, and it was amazing, but we'll get into that. So first off, Al has had an, let's say, not so excellent adventure this week.
So in a world where we can only film 3 of these at a time before something has to happen.
Yes.
That breaks up the continuity.
Quite literally breaks up the continuity.
Yeah. So I'll kick off the show this way. We're not going to do a traditional watch play read.
No.
But so here's what had happened was last week I had one of those moments, a Donna, if you will, of turn left or turn right. And I went upstairs to take a nap, and I looked, and I saw a basket full of laundry, and I said, hey, you're a responsible adult, do your laundry. So I went down, and I took the laundry downstairs, and I get down to the basement, and I find puddles. Just big puddles at several locations near our washer. Not what you ever want to find. So me and Kelly go into, okay, this is the story now. And we spent quite a few hours trying to figure out the problem. As it ended up being, it was a tiny pinhole leak in a copper pipe, so small that I thought it was a cobweb. I kept trying to brush it out of the way. And then I noticed that the cobweb would shoot straight back towards the wall every time I went to move it. And I was like, that's not a cobweb, that's the leak. And so found the leak, no problem. Turns out, funny story, bleach really can chew through just about anything if you give it enough time. And so the bottle of bleach that wasn't ours, that came with the house, that's been sitting in the utility sink for 5 years, at some point in the seam started to have a little leak where the bleach had eaten through the seam of the plastic and was now leaking down the back of this utility sink.
Okay.
Turns out if you let that happen for a long enough period of time with a copper pipe, it will eat through the copper pipe. And so that's what had happened, was that now there's this tiny little leak from this copper pipe that is from the bleach. Okay. So we get everything set. We end up having to turn off all the water in the house because there was no off valve for that particular pipe. We thought there was not. Was a different valve unrelated to the pipe in question.
Okay.
But it did take up several hours of my time trying to figure out why I couldn't get the water to turn off when I kept turning off the valve. We get everything settled. Once we get the water off, I take like 3 hours and I clean up all of the water. Exhausted, dead tired. At this point, we've been working on this for like 7 hours all told, getting everything set. Plumber comes in the next day, is able to fix it and put in a shutoff valve in case anything ever happens like that again. Cool, great. We take Sunday and we're like, okay, that was crazy. We need to take some time. Sunday is usually when we record, so I text you and I'm like, hey, we're not recording. This is just not a thing that we're going to do today. I get to Monday, and Kelly is home to help take care of stuff with the washer and everything, and to, just refresh mentally after the stresses of the weekend. And we couldn't do laundry because of the leak. And so now that the leak is finished, I'm going to go and start laundry finally. So, which reminds me again of, like, if I had gone and just taken the nap. If I went upstairs, looked at my laundry and said, I'll do that later, and went and taken a 4-hour nap, and that leak is just shooting towards that wall that entire time, and nobody knows about it because the next time anybody does laundry is Sunday afternoon, that would have been way worse. So, like, all told, very lucky.
Yes.
I'll take it. Not what I want. Definitely don't want it to happen, but very lucky. I'm trying to get laundry finished on Monday, and I go down the stairs into the basement. Our basement stairs have carpets, and I overpace, hit the edge of the stairs, bam, down, and I'm like, okay, this could be bad. So I cartoonishly just shout, ow! And I don't stop.
Oh, no.
So now I'm just sliding all the way down the stairs, and I keep thinking, like, maybe this stair, maybe this stair, maybe this stair. And the entire time I'm just going, ow, 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 to make sure Kelly knows, like, this is bad. This is getting progressively worse. Get to the bottom of the stairs. I have a trick knee, which it turns out not all doctors know what that is. And essentially, if I move my knee in the wrong direction or too quickly, it'll pop out of joint. And so I've had this happen like 4 times in my life. I'm pretty used to it at this point. Don't want to happen, not interested in it happening, but I know how to handle it when it does happen. So I get to the bottom of the stairs and I feel that feeling in my shoulder. And I'm just laying on a pile of laundry at the bottom of the stairs, and Kelly is like, what do you need? What do you need? I know that something's wrong. I can't move. So we call an ambulance. Ambulance gets here. It takes forever for them to get here, which is strange because right at the top of that hill, about a block away, is an ambulance.
Yeah.
Apparently, they didn't have anybody at that time.
Oh, no.
And so the ambulance had to come from Pittsford. So the ambulance comes from Pittsford. They show up. They finally get there about 20 minutes after I've fallen down the stairs. So I've just been laying on my arm in a bad position because I won't move because I can't move. My hand is fully asleep from the elbow down. Like, it's just, like, all bad. Finally get there. They give me what I've been calling a machine apocalypse sling, where it's like this very like loose netted fabric. It is not doing anything to support the weight of my arm.
Okay.
And so they've just like wrapped it around me like a sling, but it's like a rag. Like, you would do better to tear off the bottom of a t-shirt and use that as a sling than this. They don't have any painkillers. They just don't. They're just none in the truck. There's just none.
What?
So they get me upstairs. They get me into the back of the truck. They say, we've called another truck to get you painkillers. The other ambulance gets to our driveway, pulls into our driveway, and takes one look at me, and they say, well, he's not crumpled and crying on the floor anymore. We can't give him painkillers. So now I'm strapped to a gurney with my arm out of its socket, fully dislocated, and shooting pain. Just terrible pain that is just so overwhelming. And as I've stated on this show before, the reason I'm not an athlete is because I do not handle pain well.
Yeah.
I'm not good with pain. I'm not a woman. I don't have to deal with it on a month-to-month basis. I do not have an intimate connection with pain. I'm very scared of it. I'm not good at it. So I get into the ambulance. They have me on a gurney. But they have me pointed backwards. But the problem is that my arm needs to be going forward, otherwise it's in excruciating pain. So now we're driving, and the inertia of just driving is pulling me backwards.
Oh no.
And so I'm just in this excruciating pain from being pulled backwards by the inertia, and the medics still don't have painkillers. They give me an ice pack. And I'm like, let's go to Highland, because that's where me and Kelly went when she had her kidney stone a few weeks ago. I'm like, okay, let's go to Highland. That's the closest hospital to us. And they're like, we're going to give you to Strong. It's like, okay, I don't care. But we drive right past Highland. Like, we drive right past Highland.
Right, yeah, you have to drive past it.
And then they try and gaslight me into be like, no, we're on Highland Avenue. We're going to Strong. I'm like, no, but the reason Highland Hospital is called Highland is because it's off of Highland Avenue.
Yeah.
And so I'm just like sitting there like, okay, I guess we'll go to the busier hospital that's under construction.
Yeah.
Instead of the other hospital, just in case the smaller hospital needed to transfer me to the larger hospital, which is under construction.
Yeah.
Sure, that makes sense. So we do that. I would not recommend. Mm-hmm. And we get to the hospital. They take me in. They get me on a bed. The very first guy I see is the guy who comes to talk to me about my insurance. before Kelly gets there, before anything else, before any doctors talk to me, before any nurses talk to me, the very first guy who comes and talks to me is the guy about insurance.
That sounds about right.
Yeah. I can't move my arms because I have this terrible bad sling. I have to hold my arm in place with my other arm. So I'm just wrapped up in myself. And the guy's like, do you have insurance? I'm like, I do, but it's in my pocket. I can't reach into my pocket because I can't move my arms because the only thing holding my arm in place is my other arm. And so we get through that. Kelly finally gets into the back room. It takes them 4 hours to get me any kind of pain reliever.
4 hours?
Not even to get it fixed. Just to get a pain reliever. It takes them 4 hours.
Oh my God.
So I'm just sitting there in a tremendous amount of pain for 4 hours.
Yeah.
During that time, nurse 1 comes up, and she tries to give me an IV. She cannot find a vein. And so she eventually gets one in, and it's so bad that at one point I look down, and you know how they put in an IV, it's like they put in the pin, and then they have like this little bandage that goes over top. It's like a little clear patch bandage that goes over top and holds everything in place. Well, when she left, that bandage was about 80% off of my hand already. And she just left. And so I finally roll over because I need to lay down because I'm going to pass out because I keep going in and out of shock.
Yeah.
And when I roll over, the entire thing comes out. And so now I'm just bleeding everywhere. And so it's just like, okay. They end up pulling a different nurse by to clean me up because Kelly just was like, hey, he's bleeding all over the place because this IV came out. And so different nurse comes in, cleans me up. Same nurse comes back, cannot find an IV. Is fishing in my hand for 2 minutes for an IV. And I'm just like, the only thing that is a bonus about this is that now my arm doesn't hurt because your brain can only sense one type of pain at a time.
Yeah.
So now my brain is like, oh my God, my hand. Oh my God, my hand. And it stops worrying about the arm that's out of socket and is instead being like, oh my God, my hand. Get an x-ray done. Again, still not popped in. Still no painkillers. And so get an x-ray done. Finally get an IV. Finally, the doctor had to come in with an ultrasound and find an IV in my arm. I'm wearing a hoodie so they can't get into my elbow. So now they have to find one somewhere in my forearm. Finally, after, I want to say like 5.5, 6 hours, they finally put my arm back in its socket. And then it's another hour wait to get another x-ray to make sure that it's in. And then it's another hour wait to get discharged. We were there until 7:30 at night. We went in at noon.
Oh.
And it's just like, did we get there? Yeah, we got there. But like...
And that's the problem with going to the bigger hospital.
Yeah. Yeah, no, literally, they didn't have rooms. They just had beds and hallways. We had to keep on dodging. Kelly had to keep on dodging people coming in and out of the hallway, just trying to use it as a hallway, just trying to get from one place to another because there's no locations for beds because half the hospital is under construction.
Yeah.
But we needed to come to this one just in case Highland transferred me to it in the end. This one, the busy one where there's so many people that they don't have room for beds anymore. It's just hallways of beds. So the other great thing was that there are 2 great things. One, I had a moment with a doctor where I found to be very odd but funny in retrospect. At the time, not so much, but in the moment, now looking back on it, funny. Which was that same doctor who put in my shoulder again once we finally got there. When he was trying to give me my IV, I was just at this point where I was so overwhelmed by everything that I just had my eyes shut. And I was still like groaning because like I needed to tell them that I was in pain. And so at one point, the doctor has put in the IV and is now doing some other stuff. And I'm still like groaning and aching and bemoaning the situation. And he just looks at me and he's like, what's going on, man? And I'm like, the IV hurts. It's like there's a needle in my hand. He's like, there's no needle in your hand. We already took the needle out of your hand. The IV is fine. Everything's fine. What's going on? I'm like, I'm in a lot of pain. And he's like, okay, all right. But just the idea of me sitting there and a doctor being like, what's going on, man?
And they didn't ask you the obligatory, what's your pain from 1 to 10?
Oh, they did. They asked me that a few times. It started at a 7, crept up to a 9 at one point. Because you got to leave room at the top because you can't be like, this is the worst pain that there could ever be ever. Yeah. It's like, no. You got to leave room for the whipped cream at the top of the drink.
Yes.
So like, yes, it all worked out. We got there in the end. I will say another interesting thing about Rochester, for anybody who doesn't live here, The interesting thing about Rochester is that the largest employer in the county is the University of Rochester because of all the medical centers. So all medical centers, except for some urgent cares, are through the UR medicine system. Except that they don't talk to each other.
Oh, that's awesome.
And so the doctor was like, oh yeah, you'll be in the sling for 3 days, and then you'll go to the orthopedic on Friday. This was on Monday. You'll go to the orthopedic on Friday, and they'll give you a prognosis for what you're going to be looking at. Go to the orthopedic yesterday, and they're like, yeah, I don't know why he told you that. You're going to be in the sling for 2 weeks. And then you're going to start physical therapy. And even then, your shoulder might still pop out of joint. So we're going to be very slow about everything. And I'm like, okay, great. Me and Kelly just started looking at houses. We just finished talking to the bank about house loans and everything and getting that process started. And my plan was to move this summer. And now I don't know. So
you know what? The silver lining?
Yeah.
Is you are now Martin Riggs from Lethal Weapon.
I'm too old for this shit.
No, Martin Riggs is...
Oh, he's the Mel Gibson.
Anytime he needs to get out of something, he pops his shoulder out because it's been dislocated before.
It is not worth it, man. It is not worth it, let me tell you.
But it looks really cool in the movie, though.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. Well, I was talking to the x-ray guy after I got painkillers and my shoulder put back into joint. My humor came back. Funny story about that. And so I'm talking to the x-ray guy, who's different than the x-ray guys I'd seen 3 hours earlier. And I'm just like, we were getting to that point of like an action movie star where you just start ramming your shoulder into a door frame to get it back in joint. He's like, you didn't do that, right? I'm like, no, I'm not John McClane. I'm not crazy. Yeah. So yes, that's why there was no show last week. Amazing. That's why I'm in a sling now. We ironically got all of our video capture equipment the day before I fell down the stairs, so we were going to set everything up. And now it's much harder one-handed.
Well, luckily, you didn't go down the stairs on your head.
This is the thing. Again, like the leak, extremely lucky.
Yes.
I didn't hit my head. The only thing that happened was I dislocated my shoulder, which is not a nothing, but it could have been so much worse.
Yep.
And nothing's broken. No long-term damage is foreseen. It's one of those, like, it's going to take some time to heal. I'm going to have to be patient. God bless Kelly. She has taken up so much slack. I feel so bad. It's the worst thing because my parents keep on telling her, or keep on giving me really good advice that I then give to her. And she's like, I'm going to remember that. Uh-huh. And when you're insisting on helping, I'm going to remind you what your parents said. And it's like, God, don't do that. Yeah. Because like that I can fool around, right? Me and Kelly have this ongoing joke. For anybody who doesn't know, Alfred means elf friend. And so we have this ongoing joke, that I do a lot of the chores at night for a variety of reasons. And so I always joke that the elves come in at night and do all the chores. And when Kelly complains about me doing this, I'm like, listen, the elves are union. It's not up to me. All right? The elves have to have a job. I have to give them something to do. It's not up to me. And that joke plays a lot less now.
Yeah, I absolutely believe it.
The elves are pissed because all the union jobs are gone and I can't give any of them out. And they just keep coming to me like, what are you doing? I gotta feed my family. I'm like, I don't know, man. I can't do like 90% of the things I used to be able to do.
This has gone down a new path.
Yeah. And so now I've been jokingly referring to it as my Quado hand. Me and my Quado hand. I had to explain what Quado was to Kelly, and she was like, ugh! And I was like, I know, Quado, not nice to look at. Good guy, not nice to look at.
What I want you to do is wait until she's really sleepy tonight, and I want you to whisper in her ear, Kelly, start the reactor.
Start the reactor!
Start the reactor!